All right, so here it is. This piece right here is the top windshield cap. So I cut it out basically because it was all roached out, all rusted, and these are the tops, the brackets that the top bolts into. So I just put a new one in because what I wanted to do, this project, if you've seen the last video, I'm basically doing a whole floor. So the only thing I kept is basically the windshield pillar and the cowl, and that is it. So now just looking at everything, kind of sizing this side up, and I had to cut a little access panel in the bedside there because I had to make the lower B pillar. There was nothing there. And so when I made it off the truck. I knew there was probably going to be a little adjustments. So I needed to bring it inward towards the inside of the truck, about 3/8 of an inch. So instead of pulling the top, pulling the bedside, and then accessing everything and then kind of guessing where it goes again, I just cut, like we like to call that, a window of opportunity. So I just cut a little window and made my adjustments, and I'll stitch it back in and I'll hammer and dolly all that and metal shape it so it won't be that bad, so not a big deal. But yeah, so if you look right now, got a pretty decent door gap going on. You know, the door opens and closes, you know, not a big deal. But again, this is a truck bedside, so I was going to be cutting over here anyways. So I have to make the panel that goes in here into the B pillar, you know. But this is basically, in the aftermarket world, nothing fits perfect, right? So this is a mile away from this, you know, so there's still a lot of adjustments and stuff. But you can see the floor, I mean, it looks pretty amazing. Besides, I mean, all the stuff in here, just all my parts kind of crammed in here. But yeah, so basically welding it to the front of the floorboard right there. Had to make a whole new lower A pillar as well. And but yeah, so basically just the dash and the upper windshield frame is all that I kept on this project right here. And then you can see in the back, these need to get welded up first. This is from looking from the inside, this is that seam. But right here, this is the cowl panel that comes into the floor. And the Blazers have that inner rocker box. It actually goes over this all the way through to the back, into the rocker and into the bedside. And I'll show you guys that when I lift it up. But I basically just wanted to kind of go around this real quick to kind of show you everything that I got. Oh, that's actually really cool. It's a supercharged LT4 for another project. How do you pan over there and not take a quick peek at that? So I'm like, squirrel. But yeah, so check that out. Is that beautiful or what? Ooh, like 660 or 680 horse, something like that. But anyways, back to the Blazers. So the Blazers are, you know, I've been building these things since I was a kid, man. This is like one of my first vehicles. Not this one. This one's for a client, but I just kind of know everything about them. So anyways, when doing a new floor, I initially put these braces in here because I had no structure holding the windshield frame in, because as you remember, it was just the what am I trying to say? The windshield frame, the A pillar, the dash, and the firewall, and that's it. And then you know, footprint gas pedal. Dang. So anyways, I had to hold this in here just so this wouldn't fall back on me. But now what I wanted to do is I wanted to put the body on the body bushings, on the frame with the top, because now that the top is in and it's bolted in here, this is the new panel I put in. Now I know my A pillar is correct, the angle on that. You can guess all you want. So typically, if you're putting a little bit of a section of a floor and you have existing bedsides and everything else, you can do a bunch of cross bracing in the vehicle before you take it apart. But being that there was going to be no floor and I'm just having an A pillar and nothing else to hold it, I needed to kind of start somewhere. So now I'll cut these out. I already did the other side. Cut this out because it's really not holding anything. Now the top is holding the windshield pillar where it's supposed to be. So a little complicated, but it's coming out super nice, you know, with the seam, with the old floor firewall going into the new one, weld it right in through here. I just want to make sure all my fitment is proper first, and then you can see on the inside too, I still need to make the kick panel, you know, but I'm going to wait till after I do the rocker and everything else on that. And same with these B pillars, right? So the B pillar right here I basically had to rebuild most of the lower part of that, which is why I had to kind of open that bedside up. So same thing over here. This rocker fits much better on this side than the other side, but you know, you're still gonna have to be doing a little cutting, chopping, stuff like that. They do sell Blazer bedsides, they're just super hard to get. So you can take a truck bedside, chop it down. But anyways, I'm gonna put this thing above the lift and I'll show you guys everything I got going on from there, all right? All right, so let's check out the underneath of this thing. Just bear with me, man. It's just a little sketchy. That's why I got these supports up. But this is kind of just an example so you can see. This is what's called the rocker box. And this is like a little 90 pinch weld, you can see. That actually butts up against the pinch weld on the rocker underneath. So in doing a full floor for a Blazer, I like to do this obviously last because this part comes over the pinch weld right here from the firewall up. And obviously if you're getting super involved in putting a whole new floor, you got to weld all this up first, you know? So this is the difference between a truck and a Blazer. So if you move over here to the back side, and I just kind of got this thing hanging, bear with me while I'm just crawling around this thing. So like this goes up, this is a separate part, and it bolts. You can see the holes up underneath. Let's see. So it bolts into the side, into the brace. Then I'll show you on the other side. And then if you look on the top, it has holes right here. So if you look underneath here, these are the holes, right here. Boom, boom, boom. And then this is a separate bracket. It bolts into this bracket into the side. So I'll get a better shot of that. But this is basically the whole floor. I'll go from the back forward. So all new bushings, you know, just getting everything set up. But, you know, brand new floor. I'll look at the cost. I'll figure it out real quick. I'll put that in the description here. But yeah, so see, you can see now, that's the little side bracket that goes into the back of the cab, into the floor, and then it catches that last piece of the rocker box. So yeah, there's gonna be a lot of jumping around. So you can kind of see from the side here, that's the rocker box. So in a truck, I'll get on the other side, it makes a little more sense. So this is the inner rocker panel, and this is that pinch weld that the rocker box is going to go over. But a truck just has these frame rails, if you want to call them frame rails, right? And what happens is a Blazer obviously doesn't have, it's much longer than just a cab. So this would be the end of the cab for a truck, and then the bed floor would be separate, you know what I'm saying? But since it's a Blazer, it's kind of almost like a unibody in theory. They need to stiffen everything up. So that's this part that I was telling you on the other side. It bolts to the back of the cab, bolts to the floor, and then it extends it out, and then it lets, makes sense now, this rocker, the rocker box, grab that and stiffen everything up. So you kind of see how that is that's pretty much finishing the floor for a 72 Blazer, well, 69 to 72. But now this is kind of a little bit better. And sorry about the filming, I'm just trying to like crawl underneath the truck without killing myself here, you know? But yeah, so if you're doing a whole floor, they sell the front floor separate, then the rear floor, it just bolts together with carriage bolts. That's these right here. You don't have to get them from like a supplier, in all honesty. Ace Hardware sells them. They're just called carriage bolts. They got the little round head and, excuse me, the square shoulder. But you can see this is a heavy duty. I mean, look at how thick it is. It's super thick. And once that goes on, it grabs the very front of the pinch weld, covers that frame rail, that cab extension, cab support. It goes down the whole frame rail, and then it grabs the inside of the rocker and then goes into the back of the bed. And that's actually what stiffens the Blazer floor up, because it's obviously a much longer body than a truck. So anyways, this is kind of the update on the floor. Got everything kind of mocked up into place. Aftermarket parts never fit 100%, but I tell you what, cut patch panels, doing a whole floor, That's why I don't mind buying a Blazer that's totally roached out, because the ones you're going to pay a lot more money for, you're going to end up putting patch panels or somebody hid something anyways. So I just like to start basically from scratch. And like I said, I'll look up the cost and I'll put it in the description of what the whole floor, rocker boxes, and everything cost me. But this is just kind of an update of the floor. And that just shows you the inside of this rocker box. So this will be the pinch welds. I'll drill holes all through here and weld that to the rocker. But obviously I need to fit the rocker, you know, I need to finish fitting the bed sides, finish welding the firewall, you know, down into the floor in order to put this in last. But the good news is, with the frame and the floor sitting on the body with the top on it, I know the A-pillar is sitting correctly where it needs to sit. You know, because it could be leaning back, it could be leaning forward, but now that it's bolted up and the frame is, and all the weight is sitting on the actual frame itself, I have no problem welding the underneath. But of course I want to finish gapping everything out, but you know, aftermarket parts, they're not 100%. There's still a lot of adjustments and things that need to be done. But anyways, this is just a kind of a quick update of, you know, the Blazer floor for K5 and the challenges you're going to face if you try and do it by yourself. But thanks for watching.